So I started making games in 2006 when I graduated high school, but I have made a ton of mistakes along the way. So I decided I want to make a video here about the things I really wish I knew when I started that would have saved me a lot of headache. My name is Michael Kosha. I am a professional full-time indie developer. If you like this kind of content, then like and subscribe so you can see more of it. Let's get started. This video is sponsored by Brilliant. More about them later. Number one, first thing I wish I knew is to start marketing early. A lot of my games in the past, I would never tell a single person about. And after like a few weeks, I would just get bored of the idea because I just felt like there was no one else who cared about it, and I'd move on. I just feel like if you start marketing your projects as soon as they become something tangible, something that you are actually working on, it's a great way to keep yourself motivated and keep going. And if you start marketing early, you can start building an audience around that project before you get to the point where you're ready to launch it. And then you've already built up some momentum, which is great. Start marketing early as soon as you have something to show off, as soon as you have some art to put in the game, as soon as your prototype is good to go, or as soon as you have an interesting mechanic that's fun and cool to show off, start showing it off. Start posting it, make short videos, do whatever you have to do to show it to people. But start marketing early and start building a player base. And a bonus tip here, make sure when you start marketing it, you actually have somewhere to send players to. Wish lists are great, but it's really nice when you have an audience you can market to, like a captive audience, or like an audience that you have like you can feed with your information when you need to. So a newsletter or a Discord server, or even like a Patreon or something, for like if you have like a free tier, somewhere where you can put your whole audience together and then you have them to shout at when you need to. Plus it's nice to just have a place to do updates aside from like Steam. Number two, the second thing that I wish I knew is it's easier to expand on your idea and your scope than it is to try to cut it. Sometimes when you're making a game, you obviously have lots of ideas and you can already see how you can expand on those ideas and make something even bigger and better. And as you're building it and brainstorming and you're in that blue sky phase, making all the cool ideas, you just keep throwing more at the wall, right? To see what sticks. And sometimes it's better, not all the time, but sometimes it's better to start with something really small and then expand on it as you go, rather than write everything down in a massive game design doc about every single thing you want to add to the game. Because then it becomes entwined eventually, and it's much harder to cut things out once you have everything kind of dependent on each other. So if you build a whole crafting system and then you build a whole resource harvesting system or something, or gathering system, and then a mining system and all the other things, and then you realize maybe I don't need crafting, then all the other stuff you built and designed has to go with it, or you have to find a new solution. Sometimes start small, expand from there once you know you're capable of it. Number three, feedback is invaluable. Player feedback is invaluable, but it's important to know when to accept the feedback and when, or which feedback to throw out. And when you take that feedback, when you get to see a player sit down and play your game, ideally you get someone to you can stand over their shoulder and watch them play your game. The most important thing I've learned is don't show them how to play your game. Then you're just wasting that feedback. It is so incredibly valuable to have someone who's never played your game before, ever, like never seen it, never played it, never heard about it. It's so valuable to have them sit down in front of you and play the game and just watch their reactions. And if you ruin it by telling them, oh, just press spacebar to jump, and oh, press tab to open your inventory, and oh, watch out for this guy in this room. Like if you start doing that, you're ruining the experience. And it, first of all, it's ruining it for them because they are not gonna have any fun with your game if they know how to play it without learning. And two, you're not learning what's good and what's bad about your game. Watch their face. It would be great if they didn't know you're watching. This is why like Let's Play videos are so good, and watching people's live streams. I can't tell you how many times I've gone into someone's live stream playing my game for the first time, and I just secretly watch. Like I don't say anything, as much as I really want to be like, oh man, you missed a treasure chest there, or there's a cool thing here. It's just so much more valuable to just watch them play the game and learn where the rough spots are. Number four, keep learning. Don't stop learning. They're gonna come to a point where you're like, I can make this game, no problem. I don't need to do any research. I don't need to learn anything. I know how to sit down and make every aspect of this game, and I don't have to do any learning. But don't stop learning, because if you do, you're gonna get stagnant and you're gonna fall behind other devs. And lucky for you, I have a really great way to learn. The sponsor of today's video is Brilliant. There's a ton of ways to learn new things, but I've found that Brilliant actually makes it stick. They've got thousands of interactive lessons across topics like math, science, programming, data analysis, and AI, and it's not just passive learning. You're hands-on, solving problems and figuring things out as you go. Studies show that that kind of approach is 6 times more effective than just sitting through lectures. Brilliant's lessons break things down to first principles, so you're not just memorizing answers, you're really understanding concepts from the ground up. And it's fun. They've built in things like leagues, daily streaks, and problem-solving challenges that keep you coming back for more. Plus, their courses are created by a team of experts from top schools and companies like Stanford, MIT, Google, and even Microsoft. I started with their Thinking in Code course, and it completely changed how I approach problem solving. The lessons use clear analogies and step-by-step puzzles that just make everything click. There's even a why button after each puzzle that gives you a deeper reasoning behind the solution. It's a game changer if you're like me and you wish you learned this stuff better in school. I've jumped into their Python courses over the last month, and as someone who's used to working in blueprints and Unreal Engine, I was very surprised at how fast I picked this up. You don't even need to write code with a keyboard. You can work through everything right from your phone. That level of accessibility has made a huge difference for me. If you want to level up your learning, whether it's algorithms, data science, or AI, head to brilliant.org/michaelkosha. When you sign up with my link, you'll get a 30-day free trial to try out all the courses, plus 20% off a premium annual subscription. Thank you again, Brilliant. Now back to the video. Number 5. Make bad games and be okay with it. When you start out, you're gonna make bad games because games are hard to make, and when you start out, you don't know how to make them. So if you just get to the point where you can accept the fact that this game is gonna be bad that you're making, but finish it anyway, you're in a much better spot than I ever was. I had to learn this the hard way. I learned it through game jams, pretty much. I started a dozen game jams or so and never finished any of them. I did Ludum Dare almost every single time it came up, and I never finished any of them I did. And then finally, something clicked in my head, and I thought, I'm so sick of not finishing games. I've never finished anything in my life. So finally, I decided no matter how bad this game turns out, I'm just gonna finish it and release it because I need to get something out there. And I did. I finished a game. It was called Blue Screen of Death. You flew a little virus scanner chip through lines of code and had to dodge the code to destroy a virus. It was really bad. It was like, I think the theme was 10 seconds. And so I spent like, you played for like 10 seconds and you had to survive or something. But it was terrible. The game was sucked and it was really boring, but I spent a lot of time making it look cool. So it was like a retro like PC and everything you played on. And it had like a really immersive like start screen, and it looked like you were installing some really shady software. I won't tell you what the software was called because it was a little not age appropriate. But it was fun. It was fun to make, and I finished it, and I was so proud of it that I remember that game to this day. And there's many games I don't remember like anything about making. Like I'll look through my folder and be like, oh, I forgot I even touched that game. Like that was an interesting idea, but I forgot that existed. But I will never forget Blue Screen of Death because it was a terrible game, but it was my first game I ever finished. And don't look it up on itch because it's probably not on there anymore, but it might be, I don't know. It was a Flash game, I think. Make bad games. Make bad games and be cool with it. They're gonna be bad and it's okay. Just have fun with it. You're learning, and then you'll make a good game eventually. Number 6. Yeah, number 6. This one is probably the most important one, I think. Maybe not, but it's up there. It's definitely important though. And this is something I tell people all the time. It's a huge debate, but art sells games, and game design wins reviews. I'm sure there's other people who've coined that in different ways and better ways. That's how I've always said it. And I feel like I came up with it, but I know I didn't. The point is, or what it means is, a lot of people will see your game's thumbnail and they'll click on your page on itch or Steam or wherever and see screenshots and gameplay of your game. And if it looks ugly, 9 times out of 10, they're just gonna dismiss it. I can't tell you how many times I tried to play Minecraft when it first launched in like 2011 or whatever, because my friends were telling me, you've gotta play this game, it's amazing. And I kept opening it and going, this thing is so ugly, I can't play this, I'm going back to World of Warcraft. And I would quit the game. And then one day I finally stuck with it and I was obsessed and didn't play or didn't do anything else for like a week. I think I called out of work for like 3 days because I was obsessed. But the point is, if that game looked beautiful from the beginning, I would have never stopped playing it, right? And we can all argue about whether Minecraft is ugly or not now, but the point is, I know a lot of game developers out there who are programmers first will say, oh, well, you know, my game's ugly, it's okay, because once you start playing it, it's gonna get catchy and you're gonna love it. And that may be true, and it probably is. But the point is, your design's not gonna win you a sale. It's gonna win you a review after the game's already sold, if you can even get to that point. So the point is, make your game look good. If you have to buy assets, or if you have to use a cool shader, or if you have to learn 3D modeling, or whatever you gotta do to make your game look good, or hire an artist, God forbid, make your game look good, because that's what's gonna get a sale. And then it can feel good to play after they've got it installed in their library. But you gotta make it look good first. Next, number 7, game feel is not a bonus. It's the special secret sauce. It's the most important part of your game, some might argue. If your game doesn't have any juice, if you don't know what that was referencing, you should look up game juice on YouTube. I'm sure that video will come up. It's amazing. But if your game doesn't have any good game feel, if there's no particle effects, there's no camera shake if that's necessary, or like oomph, you know, there's no pizzazz, then your game's just not gonna do well. It's not gonna be fun to play. You've got to have the game feel, and this is so important. And I don't care if you're prototyping. I like to add game feel the second I can. There's some things where I'll hold off and I'll add that in later, sound effects and stuff like that. Sometimes I'll add them later, but a lot of the time when I'm prototyping, if it doesn't feel good to play, I'm not going to keep making the game. So you should be adding the game feel as you go to make sure it actually feels good to play. I don't know. I think it's worth it. I think game feel's worth it. Do it. Do game feel. Make it feel amazing. Make your game feel good. Next, number 8. This one's gonna be controversial. Learn when to say yes to feature creep. A lot of people think feature creep is bad. It is sometimes, but there are times when it's a good thing to feature creep. Sometimes, when you're making a game, you just have to follow the fun. And that is something that should have been a tip by itself probably. But following the fun means if you're playing your game and you're like, man, I really like this aspect here, even though that's not really the main core part of the game. Sometimes it's good to branch from your game's core concept and try something new, feature creep a little, and see what comes of it, right? And if suddenly you're realizing this is way more fun, this is way better than what I thought it was going to be originally, I should branch into this, then do it, follow the fun. I should really rename this tip. But yeah, learn to say yes to feature creep, because sometimes it's okay. Not always, don't always feature creep, but sometimes it's worth it. Number 9, your time is more valuable than your money. I had to learn this one the hard way too. I spent 10 plus years probably making games, thinking I had to do everything myself. I made all my sound effects for the most part, or I found free ones online. I made all my music. I made all the art. I did all the programming. I did everything myself. I refused to pay anyone any money for anything, and my games were not better for it. I did learn a lot, and I do have a lot of skills now that I wouldn't otherwise. I'm very much a jack of all trades now. I can do 2D art, I can do 3D art, I can do music if I need to, I can do sound effects, I can animate, I can do a lot of stuff, but not any of it as good as I can do like the handful of things I like to do, which is like art and programming now. That said, when I realized with Swords and Magic, when I had money suddenly, and I know that a lot of you probably aren't going to have money, you don't have a budget for your games, and I get that. And when you do have some money, and you have $50 laying around or whatever, sometimes it's well worth it to take that $50 and invest it in something for your game that you would otherwise be spending several hours to do yourself. And if you start thinking about how much money would it cost me to buy this asset pack versus how much time would it take me to make these assets, and then weigh your time spent and your hourly rate, whatever, versus that cost, you're gonna find that spending money sometimes will save you a lot of time and actually save you money in the end. It says time is money, and time is way more valuable than your money is. You only have so much time, but you can keep making more money if you need to. Sometimes. I know there's nuances here. Number 10, the last one, and the most important one. This is something that it took me forever to figure out, and I'm honestly just starting to realize it now. But throughout my game dev career, I have noticed that I've had a lot of cool doors open for me. I got invited to the Twitch Creative Week, and I literally have a Twitch fridge now because of it, which you can't see, but it's here. And it's awesome, and I plan on picking it up so you can see it more in my videos and my live streams. I got invited to do a ton of interviews and things. I've been invited for collabs on YouTube videos. In fact, there should be one coming out soon with Game Dev TV, which I'm really excited about. No spoilers. I've been invited to do a bunch of different things. I got in contact with Girls Make Games because of my game dev channels and things like that. And I got a summer job doing that. I got to teach kids to make games over the summer, which was amazing and like one of my favorite things I've ever done. I've had so many cool opportunities throughout my career for certain things like that. And I realized as I'm getting older now, and I've been doing this for a while, the only reason I had those opportunities, and I know a lot of people, I look at other people without their cool opportunities too, and I think, man, I wish I could have talked at PAX or something or done that thing or whatever. And I realized that the way you get those opportunities is by putting yourself out there and being part of the community. The more you do that, the better the likelihood those opportunities are gonna open up for you. So as a game dev, if you wanna be part of the community and you wanna be offered these opportunities to do cool things, then start putting your stuff out there as soon as possible and as often as possible. Find communities, be part of those communities, talk to people, get to know people, reach out to people, tell them that their art's cool or tell them that their game was fun. Talk to the devs, like get out there and make yourself known. Live stream, make YouTube videos, post stuff on Reddit, do whatever you got to do to make your presence known and get your face out there and get people knowing you. Because once they start recognizing you and seeing you and being like, oh yeah, that's the one guy who did that one thing. Yeah, you're gonna start getting invited to things, and it's awesome. It's really cool when that kind of stuff starts happening and it starts feeling like you've made it, like you finally somebody now. You finally that game developer you always wanted to be. So get out there and make yourself known, start doing cool stuff and sharing it with the world, and make games. Thanks again, Brilliant, for sponsoring this video, and I will catch you guys on next time. Bye.